I have some really terrible news this morning. We have confirmation right now that there has been the first hospitalization at the Alligator Alcatraz detention facility in the middle of the Everglades. According to the Miami Herald, at least one migrant has been hospitalized due to the conditions in the facility. Yesterday, we talked about how inhumane the conditions were, including broken toilets, mosquitoes, large mosquitoes, extreme temperatures. I mean, remember, you're in the middle of the Everglades, and if you haven't been to the Everglades, I've been there many times. I'm from South Florida. It's the swamp. There's nothing going in or out of this swamp. It is just marshland for miles. There are alligators, snakes, giant mosquitoes, other bugs. I mean, this is not an area you want to be in. And right now, according to the Miami Herald, this facility just doesn't have proper ventilation, doesn't have proper plumbing, lacks hygiene supplies. There is medical neglect. A medical emergency prompted an ambulance to transport a detainee to HCA Florida Kendall Hospital. It is really bad. But it's not just happening in Florida. We now know, according to the Gothamist, that immigrants detained in an ICE holding room in 26 Federal Plaza in Manhattan, New York, are also facing similar inhumane conditions. They're reporting sleeping on floors or concrete benches for days at a time, lack of sufficient food, bathing, medical care, or legal access. Some are being held for 10 days in overcrowded, overheated rooms. Lawmakers have been denied entry, lawsuits have been filed, and calls for oversight are growing. We are facing a crisis in the United States of America around an immigration policy, and not enough people are talking about it. So I will. Now, before I continue, please consider supporting my work by subscribing to my Substack, clicking the button below, or sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. I'm doing something different moving forward. I'm going to include some good news stories at the end of every report as well, so stay tuned for that today. Mandana Donna Kashnin, a 64-year-old Iranian grandma who was detained by ICE despite living in the United States for 47 years, has been released finally, after advocacy, though, from Republican House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, who urged the Department of Homeland Security to reconsider her case because of longstanding ties to her community. It should not take a senior congressman to intervene to allow for a grandma to be released from ICE, because for every one Mandana Kashnin, you have dozens of other grandmas, women, children, men who are being separated from their families in ICE custody as we speak. Elon Musk's AI firm, XAI, was forced to remove several inappropriate posts by its chatbot Grok after it praised Hitler, referred it to itself as Mecha Hitler, and made a number of anti Semitic and offensive remarks, including slurs against the Polish prime minister. The incident has followed recent updates that encourage Grok to reject, quote, media bias and embrace politically incorrect claims, raising concerns over whether or not Elon Musk's Grok is okay to continue running. Donald Trump defended his tariff policy on Truth Social, claiming they have, quote, zero impact on inflation, announcing that trade-related updates involving 7 countries are coming today. He also threatened steep new tariffs, 200% on foreign pharmaceutical drugs and 50% on copper. And as a result, copper prices hit a record after announcing the 50% on the metal. So we'll see what happens next. 4 former high-ranking NYPD officials are suing Mayor Eric Adams, alleging widespread corruption and cronyism within the department. Despite criticism from Donald Trump, Russia launched its largest drone attack on Ukraine overnight, targeting 741 sites with 728 drones. Overnight, Israeli airstrikes in Gaza killed at least 20 Palestinians, including 10 members of the same family sheltering in the Al-Mawasi Khan Yunis. Another strike on the Al-Shati camp near Gaza City wounded over 30 people. U.S. Caterpillar D9 bulldozers arrived in Israel today after delays following Trump's reversal of a Biden-era halt over their use in Gaza. In New Mexico, 3 people, a man and 2 children, died after intense monsoon rains triggered catastrophic flash flooding. In addition, in the wake of deadly flash floods in Texas over the 4th of July weekend, a number of far-right conspiracy theorists, including former General Mike Flynn and Marjorie Taylor Greene, spread baseless claims that the government used weather manipulation to cause the disaster. Now let's talk about some good news of the day. In a heartwarming story from Virginia, a man was reunited with his wedding ring 15 years after losing it while cutting a Christmas tree. In England, rescuers used a plastic curtain tube to save two baby hedgehogs trapped in a storm drain after a vacuum attempt failed. And a new study of alpine leaves near Mount Everest reveals that global atmospheric mercury levels have dropped 70% since peaking in 2000, thanks to the reduced coal use and the 2013 Minamata Convention. Human emissions of mercury are lower than natural sources like oceans and volcanoes for the first time. That's all the news right now. If you want to support my work, subscribe today, and I'll see you this evening.